For any strategic choice that you're going to make, there are always these 4 key different lenses that you need to keep in mind. So once again, very warm welcome. So this is where we are at now. We started off with the 8 steps in the decision-making process. So identifying the decision type through the decision matrix, framing the decision, gathering the evidence with using the looking forward, reasoning backward approach. Next, we are going to be talking about 4 different lenses for strategic choice. As you're thinking about product strategy, right? For any strategic choice that you're going to make, there are always these 4 key different lenses that you need to keep in mind. First one is the ecosystem lens, right? What's happening in the ecosystem around me? And it's for you to define what your ecosystem looks like. Now, for example, let's say in logistics, okay, if you were to define what the ecosystem looks like for you, who all are the players, right? Who can actually make the model change, for example, right? There will be the operation side of things, there will be network design side of things, then there will be kind of your technology pieces, the orchestration part of it. A lot of those elements are there. And maybe there are some other players as well, right? You need to figure out, is there any particular entity which can really change the model by a huge way? For example, if there are labor unions or the truckers unions, can they actually disrupt the product in some way or not? That's basically what I'm kind of trying to address here from the ecosystem lens standpoint. The next one is basically your competitive advantage lens, right? What does it take to win in this market, right? How will you differentiate yourself? What are the customer pain points you're going after? And what are the ramp-up timelines here? Just like 3 years ago at Flipkart, we partnered with Google to be an early access developer for Google Lens. Google Lens was just coming up at that point in time, and we started a track around augmented reality-driven shopping powered by the camera. Camera-based shopping sounds very kind of fancy, but it took us 3 years, right? From when we started to finally when we launched, right? Because there's a lot that goes into it. And that's what you realize that, okay, if this is going to take us that much time, then for a competition, it's going to take even longer. So the quicker you start, you automatically get that edge, right? A first mover advantage there. The third lens is the execution lens, right? Just do we have the necessary skills in the team? The talent pool and the capabilities, the resource allocation, how would you allocate resources? The execution lens is very, very important. And last but not the least is the financial lens. How much money is required? How much investment is required for you to actually kind of make this work, right? What is required to create business value and what is the impact that it can drive? More than the impact, what's important is for you to figure out what are the sensitive numbers in the calculation. When you're calculating the impact, it's an equation of sorts that you're writing, right? This cross this gives me this. If you realize that this is the riskier piece here, right? Let's say distribution is something which is the riskier part. Or for example, when we were building out kind of the Flipkart camera part, we realized that, okay, we need to model our catalog in 3D now, right? For this to really work. And this is really expensive, right? So, which is where kind of you realize that this is a sensitive part. In fact, you can do Excel magic and you can come up with very big numbers, right? But the important part is understanding the sensitive parts in the calculation, right? Which even if it kind of moves the needle by a little bit, it will change things dramatically. So these are the 4 lenses to keep in mind when you're thinking about product strategy: ecosystem lens, competitive advantage lens, execution lens, and the financial lens. Thank you so much. And with that, we, I think, come to a close of today's session as well. And we want to kind of see how you found today's session. And similarly, I would love to see all of you guys applying these techniques in your workplace and feed us back, right? And share those stories. It's really heartening to hear you guys applying these techniques and seeing the impact that comes through that. When you are actually evaluating alternatives, especially when you're thinking about longer term product strategy choices, etc., remember this question always when you're thinking about product strategy questions.